Big Blue, stop right now. MetLife Stadium just exploded with breaking news. And one reality is staring New York in the face. A $35 million defensive stalemate and a young quarterback battling growing pains under a brand new playbook. The coaching staff admitted there is real concern in East Rutherford. A rookie cornerback just blew the secondary depth chart wide open, and an all-pro trade rumor has New York on red alert. If you bleed blue, white, and red and want to see the Cowboys crumble, hit like and subscribe right now. We start with the offensive tension that has the Giants' facility on edge. Whispers turned into footsteps on the practice field. The identity everyone is watching closely. Quarterback Jackson Dart. Now watch how the ground shifts under Big Blue. Offensive coordinator Matt Nagy publicly acknowledged that the second-year quarterback is dealing with serious growing pains in training camp as he tries to master a completely new offensive scheme. According to Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News, Nagy mentioned that while Dart is super talented, the young passer is experiencing struggles in camp and has obvious areas he needs to get better at while learning the nuances of the position and a new offense. It is difficult for any young quarterback to learn a new system, especially when the structure is so completely different from what Dart ran as a rookie under former head coach Brian Daboll. The fact that an offensive coordinator would publicly frame the situation that way is notable, even if it is part of the natural process of installing a new playbook. The Giants overhauled their entire coaching staff this offseason to give Dart a better support system. Nagy arrived as the new offensive coordinator, bringing head coaching experience and years of working alongside Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Former Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan is the new quarterbacks coach and pass game coordinator. Greg Roman also joined as a senior offensive assistant. That represents a massive amount of NFL experience dedicated to compensating for a young quarterback who was visibly raw as a passer during his first season. Dart's athleticism provides a reliable floor in terms of what he can produce on the field, but refining him as a pure passer remains the top priority for this coaching group. One major issue that could aggravate Dart's struggles is the Giants' lack of offensive weapons beyond the top of the roster. Wide receiver Malik Neighbors is one of the best young receivers in the NFL, and Dart has developed a strong connection with tight end Isaiah Likely throughout camp. But beyond those two targets, New York does not have the well-rounded receiving core that would make a young quarterback's life easier. At this stage of his career, it is hard to envision Dart truly elevating an offense on his own without elite surrounding depth. If he is already struggling to learn the new system, he desperately needs better personnel around him to produce at a high level. This is the first critical step for head coach John Harbaugh's staff in building an offense around Dart. The Giants do not necessarily need to win in 2026 to consider the season a success in terms of long-term development. But how Dart learns this offense and how effectively he operates it will be determining for New York's future, at least with this version of the roster and Dart under center. Inside team meetings, coaches are spending extra hours reviewing tape to clean up his footwork, release points, and pocket presence before the real hitting starts. In modern professional football, quarterbacks who cannot process full-field progressions quickly find themselves overwhelmed when exotic blitz packages arrive on third and long situations. Dart possesses undeniable arm talent and exceptional mobility, but learning when to check down versus when to take vertical shots into tight coverage windows is what separates starting passers from franchise cornerstones. The Meadowlands fanbase has witnessed years of unstable quarterback play and understands that rush development can completely derail an entire rebuild. If Nagy's intricate West Coast concepts take root, Dart has the physical gifts to punish aggressive defenses with run-pass options and explosive bootlegs. However, every single rep in August carries massive weight, and there is virtually zero margin for mental errors as the regular season opener rapidly approaches. Are you confident Matt Nagy and Brian Callahan can unlock Dart before Week 1? Or did the Giants change systems too quickly? Tell me your honest thoughts in the comments below. If you believe Dart will silence the critics, smash that like button and let the NFC East hear Big Blue's roar. But while the offense searches for answers, a defensive position battle just delivered a shocking rookie frontrunner. Scouts called his physical coverage style calculated violence, and the front office loved his draft value. The question was never if he would compete, but how fast he would rise. The name? Cornerback Colton Hood. The 37th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft out of Tennessee is turning a shaky cornerback situation into his personal big break. The final days before the first preseason game are always exciting and nerve-wracking, and Hood has already been named the Giants' most important rookie entering the 2026 season by FanSided's Taringo Basile Vaughn. Considering the uncertainty surrounding the Giants' cornerback room, that distinction makes total sense. Hood has put together a remarkably strong training camp and has already seen first-team reps. While some of those opportunities have come with veteran corners struggling to separate themselves, The opening is right there for Hood to take full advantage of it. This franchise has been missing consistent cornerback play for years. The days of Janoris Jenkins, Corey Webster, and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie are long gone. And Deonte Banks alongside Paulson Adebo were simply not the answer in 2025. The numbers back that up completely. Banks finished 112th out of 114 qualified cornerbacks with a 42.4 overall grade from Pro Football Focus, while his 45.0 coverage grade ranked 110th. Adebo finished 74th overall with a 58.4 grade and 75th in coverage with a 57.9 mark. Adebo settled in toward the end of last season with better performances. But training camp has exposed lingering issues throughout the cornerback room. Banks, Adebo, and newcomer Greg Newsome II have yet to completely run away with the outside jobs, giving Hood a legitimate chance to work his way into the starting conversation. Basile Vaughn highlighted Hood's impressive camp and the physical style that made him a potential first-round pick coming out of Tennessee. If Hood can secure the CB2 job, the Giants would add an aggressive boundary corner who is not afraid to press receivers, play the run, or disrupt screens. Now the rookie looks to reignite this defense on the outside against some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. The Giants face highly talented passing attacks this upcoming season, with the Los Angeles Rams and Detroit Lions at the top of the list, not to mention brutal divisional matchups against Dallas and Philadelphia. Hood does not need to become a shutdown corner immediately to make a major impact. If he can show enough during the preseason to earn the starting CB2 spot, that alone gives New York a dependable young piece in a secondary that badly needs consistency. Hood has plenty of competition around him, but the next 3 games will determine his destiny. Defending elite boundary receivers requires fearless press-man technique, fluid hip transitions, and relentless mental toughness whenever deep shots are contested along the sideline. If the front 4 generates pressure up front, a physical cornerback like Hood can thrive by jamming routes at the line of scrimmage and throwing off the timing of opposing passing games. On the other hand, veteran wide receivers will test a rookie's discipline using double moves and rub concepts designed to draw pass interference flags. The coaching staff knows that throwing a rookie into the fire carries risk, but New York needs defensive playmakers who play with raw edge and undeniable competitive drive. If Hood locks down the perimeter, it transforms the entire defensive scheme and gives the coordinator freedom to call aggressive coverage packages. Do you want Colton Hood starting outside on opening day, or should the veterans keep their spots? Drop your verdict below. Hit like if you believe Hood brings that classic Giants defensive swagger back to MetLife Stadium. Yet as Hood emerges, a failed pursuit just sparked an explosive trade scenario. A blockbuster conversation months in the making just caught fire across the league. Panic surrounding Big Blue's secondary hit a boiling point on Wednesday after free agent target Terrion Arnold left New York without a contract, signing a 1-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks shortly after his workout. The former 2024 first-round pick was on the open market after the Detroit Lions released him following his arrest in Florida on 8 felony charges, including 4 counts of kidnapping and 4 counts of armed robbery. With rookie Colton Hood looking like the only obvious long-term piece on the boundary, Big Blue is staring down a potential crisis. That reality led Giants insider Art Stapleton to throw gasoline on the fire, suggesting New York should pivot and call the New England Patriots about All-Pro cornerback Christian Gonzalez. Giving New England a call makes sense on paper because the worst that can happen is they say no. Gonzalez is currently in a severe contract stalemate with the Patriots, a situation Giants fans remember all too well from the Dexter Lawrence saga. The 24-year-old cornerback skipped joint practice with the Colts and posted a cryptic Instagram story featuring lyrics from Gunna's song Time Reveals, "Be careful what you wish for," with the text stating it should have been done by now. It is not hard to understand why the two sides have not found common ground. Word on the street is that Gonzalez wants a mind-boggling $34 to $35 million per year, completely resetting the cornerback market. You might think there is no way the Patriots trade their superstar corner. But in today's NFL, when a star gets unhappy with their organization, things fall apart fast. Shaking the Gonzalez trade tree is going to cost a king's ransom. If general manager Joe Schoen somehow got New England to listen, it is not hard to imagine the asking price reaching Kayvon Thibodeau, New York's 2027 first-round pick, another premium selection, or a combination of the three. That is a massive price to pay while simultaneously handing Gonzalez a market-setting mega deal. It feels like an unnecessary overcorrection for missing out on Arnold, and Big Blue should only make that move if they believe they are Super Bowl contenders right now. The G-men have not proven they are serious contenders yet. Before trading away the farm, New York must see how Saturday's preseason opener against the Minnesota Vikings goes and how the cornerbacks hold up under game conditions. If it is truly a disaster, only then should the front office consider leaning into trade chaos. Committing $35 million per year to a single defensive back limits future salary cap flexibility, making it extremely difficult to construct depth across the offensive line and linebacker corps. Championship rosters require careful resource allocation, and parting with a young pass rusher like Thibodeau would create a massive void along the edge of the defensive front. Elite cornerbacks change games, but without consistent pass rush pressure, even all-pro defensive backs cannot cover modern receivers indefinitely downfield. The front office must decide whether building organically through the draft is safer than executing a high-stakes blockbuster trade that mortgages premium draft capital. Every phone call between front offices right now carries massive implications for the upcoming season and beyond. Would you trade Kayvon Thibodeau and a future first-round pick for Christian Gonzalez? Or is that price way too reckless? Make your voice heard in the comments. 3 massive storylines, one defining Crossroads for Big Blue. Jackson Dart is fighting through offensive growing pains, Colton Hood is fighting to take over the boundary, and a $35 million rumor is swirling around Christian Gonzalez. If Dart masters Nagy's system and the secondary finds stability, the Giants can disrupt the NFC East hierarchy. If the offense stalls and the perimeter breaks down, 2026 will become an uphill climb. Dallas and Philadelphia believe New York is an easy out, but the energy in the Meadowlands says otherwise. Smash that like button if you stand behind the G-men through every snap. Drop a comment with your prediction for Saturday's matchup against Minnesota. Subscribe right now to stay ahead of every breaking Giants headline and leave the Cowboys behind. But keep your eyes open. Sources indicate the Giants coaching staff has set a private benchmark for the cornerback room in this weekend's preseason game, and failure to perform could trigger trade calls before Monday morning. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles just cleared significant salary cap space and are monitoring the exact same defensive trade market. Big Blue stands mighty. Subscribe now and stay locked in for what comes next.